Okay guys, here we are. Give you a little overview of my battle this week. War of the Rats. Stalingrad, Russia, 26 September 1942. During the summer months of 1942, German forces had advanced nearly unchecked across the Russian steppe. With Russian resistance west of the Don River broken, Hitler ordered Army Group B to capture Stalingrad. Using the traditional German tactics of lightning thrusts and envelopment, and with the Russians retreating before them, 6th Army Commander Paulus sent an armored spearhead into the suburbs of Stalingrad in an attempt to quickly capture the city. Makes sense to me. The German tactics failed inside the confines of the city, however, and the Russians were able to dig in and fight from every building. The initial spearhead blunted. The Germans committed more units and soon realized that it was be a very different battle from what they had been fighting previously. The confines of the city stifled maneuver. The German superiority in artillery, air power, and armor were rendered ineffective as the infantry of both sides intermingled while fighting for each block of the city. This was Rattenkrieg, the War of the Rats. And that's our scenario. It's basically the second scenario of the ASL starter kit, which I won't show because it's all glary. Anyway, folks, I'm going to give you a little follow along with a few updates as I play this battle. I'll be doing it off and on throughout the week. But this is the introduction, just so you know what's going on. Got the Russians, they're all deployed on the southern side of this road, as you can see, and the Germans are up here. They're basically made up of elements of the 62nd Army. That's the Germans. Their ELR is 3. And basically, they are the attacker in this scenario. They want to take 3 buildings to win decisively in this scenario. This building, and also this little building here. It's actually a 2-hexer. Dink, dink. So they're after those 3 buildings. They have to basically run the Russians out of those buildings and occupy them with their troops. Again, they're the 62nd Army, and there's some elements of engineers, some elite grade troops, I think over in here. Yeah, they got the E symbol there. They're 548s. In addition, special rules for these German units is they have better ability putting down smoke. So we'll probably make use of some smoke as well. There's also some 467s, which are typically your first line troops. Russians, on the other hand, are mostly they're kind of evenly divided between conscript. There's quite a few down here. They're actually balanced, where they've got some conscript and some first-line troops kind of scattered throughout. They seem to be focused more up here. They gave some extra LMGs to the conscript troops down here, which kind of help them bolster the defense of this building. But we'll see what happens. Germans look like, well, they have a flamethrower. They also have some demolition charges. There's one of them. The elites, the engineers, or whatever they are the ones carrying those equipment. Basically, here, and here are elites. They've got some appropriate commanders leading them. Basically, the German strategy at this point is hold this position until later in the game. They're going to focus their efforts in splitting the enemy, separating them, pinning this side, if not destroying them. Ultimately, they want to take this building with this force, if they can, supported by these 2 in the middle. But mainly, the Germans want to strike at this building. And once they can get a foothold here, then they're going to focus their efforts on taking the final series of buildings. So basically, it's either this one or this one, which will be taken first, and followed lastly by this 3rd building. And it involves using the flamethrower, demolitions, and so on, split the enemy, deal with a smaller force as opposed to the whole thing. That's pretty much what I'm going to do. Russians are basically holding back. They're pretty balanced defensively. Got a nice medium machine gun up here, which can do a lot of cover fire any approaches the Germans make. So I anticipate smoke being laid down early on by the Germans as they make this attack, but we'll see. This is only the deployment. I'm going to get into the first turn. It's a 6-turn game. Germans go first, and the Russians actually deployed first, if that matters. Russians do get some reinforcements. They get, let's see, they get 3 squads of 527s, which are first-line troops, as well as a 9-2 commander and an LMG. basically a platoon of sorts. They're going to be coming on randomly. It says enter along south edge on die roll less than the current turn number. So this is the south edge down here. So they're going to be coming on anywhere down here. Maybe along a road, we shall see. But they could really turn the battle, I think, against the Germans. So that's the setup, folks. That's the background. It's ASL scenario S2 from the starter kit number 1. And I'll give you some updates on my progress of the battle. Any questions? Leave them below. And I will get back to you and show how well I get along here in the first couple turns with the German offensive. See if we can take these 3 objective buildings. Okay, folks, take care. I'll talk to you soon.